What's happening, YouTube? Hey, friends.
We back.
We back
with another
y'all, with another one. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. No, let's talk about it.
Yeah, we need to talk about it because it's 2020 and we're still sadly having to talk about certain issues like social injustices, racism, prejudice, discrimination. There's so much things out there that are still happening in this world, and you know, there's going to be hateful people out there that don't care to talk about it or care to educate themselves.
But we're coming with this video and we don't care. Because obviously, y'all see that we live this. And yes, what we're talking about today is your circle needs to diversify.
Yes. Don't let the pandemic keep your circle so undiversified. So like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Non-spicy.
Yeah. Lacking variety. Don't let your circle lack variety.
I always say this for real. It's something like we want to talk about, but we want to talk about it.
No, but we're passionate about this topic, which is like diversifying your circle, diversifying the people that you're around the most. The people in your circle, those are the people that you do a relationship with the most, the people you're around the most. You become a version of the people you hang with the most.
They are influencing you on a daily basis. And really in today's society, to hang out with people that only look like you, talk like you, have the same
aesthetic. The same aesthetic.
Now I find that very important. So, like if you ain't vibing aesthetically, no, like if they're the same economical status, is that a word? Economical.
It's socio-economic status. But that's getting into like who's in your circle. Do those people have the same socio-economic status? If you're rich, are all the people you hang with rich? Or if you broke, are you only hanging with broke folks? Are you the only educated person in your circle? Or are you hanging with people that are just only educated?
Are you only hanging with white people?
Yeah. Or are you only hanging with black folks? Are you
only hanging with Hispanic people?
Or are you hanging with people that grew up the same way you grew up or have the same background that you have? And you're afraid to try to hang out or branch out.
Why is this on your heart? Why are we talking about this?
Well, we're talking about this because it's so important to have diversity amongst the people you hang out with, because there's so much benefits from that. It's that you gain awareness. You stay woke. You know, if you hang with somebody that's different than you learn the things that person...
If I'm reading my best African American book, am I staying woke?
Well, anybody could Google things, anybody could read a book, but I feel like you gain the most knowledge if you're hanging with that person, if you're in relationship with that person, because you're going to see that person through a different lens. That person is going to share things with you and share experiences with you, and you're going to get a pulse on how they actually feel. How to, and get a true understanding of what it is that they go through, what it is that their culture is, and what that means to them. So you gain a different level of appreciation by having real life friends and relationships with people that don't necessarily look like you.
Yeah, like I think we live in a time right now where it is very easy. We're supposed to come together with our friends who are being, where there's injustice or abuse or anything like that. And it's easy just to talk about it. It's also, we live in a time where it's like, I'd love to see more diversity in my church. I'd love to see more diversity here. I'd love to see more diversity there. Like, cool, I love your music, but not gonna have you at my dinner table. Cool, I love your movies, but don't come too close. Like,
exactly. And you keep them at like a hands off. Like at a distance. You'd be like, I want to reach out and be with or have friends or have people in my circle that look different from me, but then what will everybody else think if they see me hanging out with someone that looks different than me?
I think it's a lot of, it reminds me when I was younger, like I've always had a heart for diversity. I am half Mexican, half Caucasian.
Bet y'all didn't know that.
Y'all didn't know. And grew up in East Texas in a predominantly white and black town. So there was no Hispanic people, so I'd have to go to Los Angeles where the rest of my family was, and then I'd really really be embraced. But I remember like just having this burning desire, even started in elementary, if I saw someone who didn't look like me, I wanted to be their friend. Like I wanted to see, like I just wanted that inclusion. Maybe that's just my personality. But I remember the first time I really like started diving in with like boys that were not my race.
Yeah.
In the white community, it was like,
were they judging you?
Well, yeah, I remember this one mom like spread all these rumors about me that I was, and it was just like, it was the first time in my mind I recognized that people were uncomfortable
with different.
Yeah. And when I just saw it as like, wow, so awesome, like, you're so cool, you're so awesome.
I get to learn about you, you get to learn about me.
I don't know if I was learning. I mean, I want to learn about you. I want to learn about me.
Well, you had ulterior motives, but at least your motives was in the right direction because you didn't allow that to affect.
No, but I remember as
look what happened. Look what happened, though.
Look what happened,
you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have happened if that wasn't in there. You know what I'm saying?
That was the first time I saw adults uncomfortable with a child embracing and bringing someone to their table.
Especially when that person looks different or does different things or have different cultures. And a lot of times I think that hesitancy by some folks to embrace someone of a different race or a different culture is due to them just getting so caught up into the misconceptions or like the stigmas associated with that particular race. Yeah. Like they may think whether it's African American, like, oh, they're violent, they're just this, they're just loud, they're just boisterous all the time, they're violent people, or other cultures, and you allow that to rob you from what could be your best friend, which could rob you from being your spouse, which could rob you from being a pivotal person in your life because you allowed that stigma to rise up and blind you from seeing that person's true intent.
Dang, again,
that's what I'm saying.
First of all, what we're talking about is the way to break this divide is inviting people to your table.
Yeah.
Period. Like, if you want to make the move, I think I'm just to the point where I'm like so tired of like, how do I like have black friends? How do I have Mexican friends? Or I'm black, how do I have white friends? Like, well, you invite them over to your house.
Exactly.
And just like, that's how it's done. Conversation, table to table.
Go out and meet people. Like, if you're at the gym, go up to someone and talk to someone. If you're in the food store, go up to someone and talk to them. Or your church group or social gatherings where you are in a group of people, just go up to someone that looks different from you and say, hey, would you like to go to coffee with me? I'd love to talk to you. Like, you know, even tell them, like, hey, I don't have any friends that are like you and I want to learn more about you and educate myself and gain more knowledge. Like, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you may not know much about a certain culture or a certain race.
It's okay.
As long as you're willing to learn and listen to the other person and look at the other side of the bottle. I think a lot of times people forget to check out the other side of the bottle and to hear the perspective of someone that's different from them. Like, we feel like whatever we're going through, whatever we're facing is the only thing. And it looks the same for everybody. But it's not. We're selfish in that way, right? But if you go to someone that looks different from you or someone that's Caucasian or Asian and say, hey, what are some of the things how do you perceive this? And start asking questions. What does this mean to you? Like, what do you find offensive? Like, what should I not say? What should I not do around you? What should,
so it's just basically getting uncomfortable.
Gaining some knowledge.
And getting uncomfortable. I have really appreciated, like us being married and then now having a mixed child. I have a lot of friends who have come up to me and just said, hey, can I pick your brain about this? What do you feel about this?
And that's awesome.
And I don't take offense to it at all because they've come to me face to face. I have relational equity. Yeah. And they're really even being super vulnerable and sharing their heart that they don't understand it because they come from a world. And what I was even going to say before is really check yourself to see your history in your family to where you might not be moving forward with certain relationships because of maybe a prejudice in your family. I think a lot of us try to save face. Like, we say we want to be diverse and we say we're inclusive and we say these things. But then when it comes to inviting the Mexican girl to the dinner table of your very polished family, and you're very this.
Or you wouldn't bring them around your family because you're afraid of how your family will react. When in fact, your family probably needs to see some people that are different from them, and that could help them grow. In that moment when people start having a relationship and seeing and observing a different, I guess, race or a different cultural person, I think they gain something so great from that, and then they actually start peeling back those layers that they had, those walls that they built against a certain race, which a lot of times is just due to some hurt they had in the past.
Yeah, like I think you probably might be the first person in your family, or your friend circle. This reminds me, I had a friend long time ago, and I mean we're not friends anymore because of this actually very reason. But it made me so sad because she was an awesome girl, like kind of like Fedrick, like he can hang with anybody.
I'm a chameleon.
You can put him in the hood, you can put him in the all rich table. You can. It doesn't matter. Fedrick is just who he is, and people love him and flock to him, and that's why
I don't try to be something different in different crowds. I'm myself whatever scenery I'm in myself. I'm myself regardless of that.
Let's stop being one way with white people and one way with black people. Y'all, can you just be yourself?
Be yourself wherever you're
at. So annoying.
Yeah.
Anyways, she was so awesome. Like, we love the same things, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know where she was. She was from a neighborhood here in Dallas, and she wanted me to meet some of her friends. Now, she's black. I'm me.
Yeah.
And the more and more she hung out with me, the more and more her friends fed into her ear that it was to a certain way. Like, she was becoming a different person because she was hanging. And this was a group of friends that never left their circle of friends. Like, I don't know what it was, but she literally could not. We were hanging out in an area in Uptown, and she invited all her friends, and they were like, no, it can't go in there, too white.
Yeah.
And she actually stopped being friends with me because of that very reason. And it made me so sad because she was someone who really just got along with everybody, but let that voice in her head. And I think it's the same way I've had the opposite side, where it's like your white friend who really, really wants to be friends with us.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I don't know, like, you're cool, like, one-on-one, but when it comes to inviting you around my whole family, that's getting a little dicey.
It's because of the image, right? They're trying to keep that image, and they don't want to ruin that image.
What we're just here to say is, like, as you come out of this pandemic, y'all, we are called to love people. Read the verse.
Yeah, let me read that verse.
We got a verse.
Here's the deal. Diversity is beautiful, and we truly feel like heaven is going to be the most diverse place, filled with all kind of people all over. But anyway, I got this verse just to support that.
Usually I got a verse.
Guess who's bringing the verse today? Moi. But anyway,
from Revelation
7, verse 9 to 11. I'm taking the Message translation here, and it says, I looked again. I saw a huge crowd, too huge to count. Everyone was there. All nations, all tribes, all races, and all languages. And they were standing dressed in white robes and waving palm branches, standing before the throne and the Lamb, heartily singing.
That smells like unity to me.
That says unity is happening in heaven. So if it's happening in heaven, if God's about unity, if Jesus is about unity, then we need to be about it down here on this earth.
How many times
and be about it now?
Did Jesus, think about the Samaritan woman.
Yep.
He put himself in an area, like even the Samaritan woman, when he
culturally it was unacceptable.
It was culturally unacceptable, and she's
for
like,
Jews to mingle with Samaritans. We're going real biblical now. We're supporting
what you doing here, Jesus?
Yeah, exactly. But yet he still did it because he was so about unity and all races coming together, because he created all races and he created everyone to be beautiful, created everyone how they are, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And I think, like, you know, I love social media, don't get me wrong. I love when we post and we high five and we like go after the injustice real hard on that dedicated post.
For sure.
But let's be mindful that we're not just talking about it, that our homes reflect what we are shouting out to everybody.
Yes. Don't just talk about it. We need to live it. Live it.
Yeah.
Live it. So it's hard to say, yeah, diversity this, diversity that, but yet you don't have any friends that are diverse.
Yeah.
Your circle isn't diverse. You're not hanging with people that are diverse. You're not having conversations with people that are different than you. So how can you champion diversity when you're not living diversity?
Yeah, people really are in it. They can sniff the fakeness.
Yeah.
And our kids, like, if you have kids, now is a time to plant those seeds. Like, when they grow up and see who was at your dinner table, who you were surrounding you with, they are going to go out into the world and be those exact same people. There's going to be no moment from them where they feel ashamed or shy. They're just unapologetically them, because that's what we're doing. We're raising up a new generation.
And the proof of that is that I grew up in the islands of the Bahamas, majority black folks down there, but I grew up seeing my parents have best friends and lifelong friends and relationships with people that look totally different than them.
And that was a majority.
It might be 98% black folks in the Bahamas, but my parents had a lot of friends that were white. They were, I had some Japanese friends. They had friends that are so culturally different, and he would invite them over and say, yeah, this is my friend. They'd be constantly corresponding or calling each other on the phone, having conversations. And that's how it happens, really.
Yes.
If you build a relationship with someone of a different race that's different than you, you're going to build up an affinity or you're going to start caring about that race even more so. Compassion. And that's what we're lacking today. Like, those are people that don't have compassion for a certain type of person. It's because they don't have anybody, they're not in a relationship with that type of person.
Yeah, it takes that one-on-one to gain compassion. I mean, I know you can have compassion for humankind because you're a human. Yeah. But to really, like, see what somebody is going through, it takes personal connection. Yep. And I like what you're saying, because you're saying that your parents and your family never used being the majority as an excuse. Not to. Which I think a lot of people say, oh, well, I live in this community, so okay. But we don't live in this kind of time where you can just cozy and stay nestled in your security blanket with the people that are just like you. It is growth to be around people that do not think like you, were not raised like you. Sure. There is personal growth, and God always uses uncomfortable situations to provide growth.
Yeah, so if it's going to stretch you to get out there, to talk to someone that looks different from you, or try to gain some friends that are different from you, allow that stretching to happen. You work out, you break down your muscles, you tear your muscles down, you get fatigue. But what happens when
like my daily
your muscle?
routine.
Yeah, that's what you do. Your daily routine. When you break down your muscles and the next day you get some rest, your muscles are so much stronger. You become so much stronger. You become so much better because you allowed yourself to stretch.
Yep, and that is moving light into darkness. Yep. That racism is evil. Yeah. And if you have something in your heart, check it. Yeah. And the best way to check it is just start meeting with people. Yep.
Meeting with people that are different from you, and talking to them. And
just talking to them, and never using, like I said, the majority as an excuse. Yeah. Be the change. Like, be the change.
Be that change. So y'all get out there, shake it up.
Shake it up.
Diversify your circle.
And start at your dinner table.
Your circle shouldn't be one color.
No.
It shouldn't be one color.
If you are taking group shots and everybody is white, think about it. Think about it.
You know, my example just popped in my head is that, let's take a pizza. You don't just put marinara sauce on your pizza. You're adding some pepperoni. You may add some chicken. You may add some olives. You may add some banana peppers. But you're adding all kind of different flavors and variety to your pizza. That's what your circle need to look like.
That is what your circle.
Variety.
And be intentional. Being intentional sometimes is this you just want things to randomly happen in life. But being intentional, and I'm going to close.
And it takes work.
I'm going to close with this.
It takes work.
I have been doing this for a very long time, so I'm not speaking out of my neck. Like, I've been intentional.
I'm like, how do you speak out of your neck?
That's fine. Hello, people.
Just out of your neck. Just.
Hello.
I guess it could happen.
Like, I have been in all kinds of scenarios. I went to an all-white college, University of Colorado in Boulder. At the time, it was not diverse. Hopefully, it is more diverse. It was about 96% Caucasian. My friend circle was so diverse. Like, everybody.
You went and you found them.
I found them.
Your mission was to, I will find someone that doesn't look like me, and I will befriend you because...
Let's get real. I just wanted street cred, and... No, I'm just kidding. I need my street cred. I also thought I was J-Lo during that time. Maybe one day I'll show you all those pictures.
Well, the whole point you did all that is because diversity is a lifestyle for you, and it's always been a lifestyle,
yes.
And you've always lived it.
Man, be intentional. It's a lifestyle. Get uncomfortable in this season as you venture back out, and be the change. Be the change in your family. Be the change in your friend circle. Start, invite, have the conversations.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for, to just encourage all that. We know this is already probably in your heart to do. So just
get out there and do it.
Go
and
for it.
Do it more.
And maybe one day you'll be at our dinner table.
Hey, y'all can come to our table too. It's okay. We're glad to let y'all in there. Wow. We'll blame that. We'll chalk that one up to the pregnancy. But
oh, yes, I am pregnant, by the way.
As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, like this video. And we're gonna have a lot more videos coming your way. We're gonna be talking about a lot more stuff.
A lot more things. Because to be like, y'all, let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, let's talk about it.
Anyways, hope you guys have a great week. Thanks again.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Yay! Again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.